This video is going to reference changing the spindle speed settings that the Rich Auto produces. So in Rich Auto, we would go into machine setup, we would go down to spindle setup, and we'll go to spindle state, and we'll go spindle count 3, and we just change it, and then we'll change it again. And you can see that what we have is the first gear, they call them, is set at 0. The second is 4500, third is 6750, and these are RPM settings. Speed is 9000, 12150, 135, 15750, and 18,000. And 18,000 is the max RPM for this particular spindle. When you would do your spindle, you would take the maximum RPM and just divide it and put in those settings. But this is basically what the controller will look at once it receives a G-code command. So if the G-code says to move to third gear, then it's going to go to that speed. Now, it doesn't actually know what the inverter is going to do. It just knows what the G-code is asking it to do. So the second step on all this is to actually go into the inverter and set it up so that it's going to go where we want it to go. So we'll go to in the programming mode. The first thing I'm going to do is change it to read RPM, so that makes it easier for us to understand. So we'll do the we'll go to F305, and we'll change that to 16. Once it's in 16, it's going to show RPM when we turn on the spindle. We're good with 16. If you need to change it, you can move it around by pressing this and then up and down arrow to change the numbers. And once you're happy, just go to the next parameter. So if we were to go out of here and we turned on the spindle, where spindle 3, it's 6750. Now we had to make that match. So the controller's parameter was 6750, and we need to go in and change the inverter to match those settings. So the next step we're going to do is go back into programming mode, and we're going to go start with F4.29. So we'll run this up to 29. And we're going to say OK. And of course, our first gear was 0. So that's 29. Our next gear was 25%. So it's not actually an RPM value, it's the RPM, it's going to be the percentage of the max RPM of 18,000. So to get it right, you would sit there and do the math between the controller, whatever that value needs to be, and make it match. So then the next one is 37%, 50%, 67%, 75, 87, and 100. So 36 is the top value, and that's going to be the 100 parameter. So you have to take the 18,000 and divide it up and create those values. You can do that with an Excel sheet or whatever you'd like. Hope this explains a little bit more about how to get the two in sync so that when you change the spindle speed, you get the RPM you require. Thank you for watching. If else you need any problems, give CNC Warehouse a call and we'll walk you through it on the phone.